Welcome. Thank you for joining me, the Old Bucket Prosperity team, and the Prosperous Divas for this special presentation of Grow Your Mind and Money. We are interviewing Efferlan Williams, a dynamic business leader making a difference in the state of South Carolina. F has experienced the other side of the mountain, the valley, and the mountaintop, and has used those challenges to empower himself and others to stay the course and take the actions to fulfill their dreams. F's strength through authenticity, commitment, and service has him be a champion for humanity. I can't wait to hear Shani, the original Sunshine Crystal Poetry, as she performs Doubt.
Let go of doubt. It's easy to doubt yourself. Fortunately, it's just as easy to stop the doubt. Doubt is nothing but a thought. You can choose to hold, to discard, to build upon, or to let go of any thought at any time. The moment you feel doubt beginning to arise, acknowledge that doubt fully, and then let it go completely, quickly. Replace it with a positive, meaningful intention and action. Don't fight against the doubt, but that will only make it stronger. Just let it be, and then very quickly let it go. And keep the doubts away with action. The more you see yourself using your time and efforts to make a difference, the less you will have to deal with doubt. Prove to yourself how worthy and capable you are by acting to make the most of every moment. And the doubt will have no place in your life.
Snap, 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 toe tap. Thank you. Thank you, Shani. Well, before we continue, it's time to see what prospering thoughts Mr. Ronnie has for us on today. Ronnie Dean.
Thank you, Diva Nikki. And without a doubt, we have a prospering thought. Turning point. Turning point. I make wise decisions that lead me to my greatest good. The warm yellow glow of a sunrise reminds me that each day holds the promise of a new beginning. With a new dawn comes a fresh start, an opportunity to choose again. Which thoughts will I choose today? What is important to me? Which actions will lead me to my greatest good? Lessons learned yesterday help me make better decisions today. As I tune into my inner wisdom, I am guided clearly by the intentions I set for my life. Limiting patterns of thought that held me back in the past have no power over me today. As I gain clarity, I make wise decisions that change the course of my life for the better. With this new awareness, I claim my good now. Wow. You know, what I'm present to about myself and growing my mind when it comes to the theme turning point, how many turning points? Because another way of saying turning points is moments of truth, where who you are is revealed. And our guest tonight, we came from the same city, the great city of Chicago. And I remember a turning point I'm going to share with you. And the turning point is I'm on the L platform at 63rd and the Dan Ryan. I'm on that L platform, and it's a chilly fall evening, and there's this woman with this child, and there's this really big guy, and he is just going off on them, and everything is saying, mind your damn business. This ain't your concern, and everything is saying this woman is there with this child, and this big man is there. And I'm not a big guy today. And this guy easily had 100 pounds on me and height. But here was this woman with this child, and there was just no way that I could be the kind of guy that would not. So I go, and I go, sir, is there a problem? And he pulls a gun out and puts it in my stomach. And I remember in that moment, there was that voice. Though I may walk down the valley of death, I am with you. And something said in that moment that I am protected. And I said what I said, and he calmed down and put the gun away. That was a turning point. And so it is time for our special interview with my brother from Chicago who knows Harold's Chicken, Lim's Barbecue, Taurus Flavors.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right, J.J. Fritz.
Oh, wow.
And probably you queen of the sea on 87th and Stony Island.
You better quit playing.
Let me turn this interview over to Diva Nikki. Take it away.
Well, got me wishing I could experience some of those things right now. In this part of the interview, we learn about a challenge F faced in having his dreams fulfilled, a challenge that knocked the wind out of his sails. Somehow, some way, he kept going and turned that challenge from seeming defeat to victory. Thank you, F, for being on the show tonight.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can. We can hear you just fine.
Great. Listen, first of all, I want to thank everyone for having me on the show. It's truly a blessing that I can share with you some of my life experiences. Of course, Ronnie, you mentioned a whole lot of great restaurants in Chicago. We call them hole in the walls. All those ones you just named, and I can name a few more. And I truly miss that cuisine of Chicago. But nevertheless, again, thank you guys for taking the time out to feature me and have me on you guys' show. As far as a challenge, and I thought about it long and hard, and something that I really wanted in my story.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
Wait. No. You're a lot of things. You are a lot of things, but I'm pretty sure that sorry is not one of them.
Okay, no doubt.
So let me begin with the first question because we haven't got there yet.
All right. I thought we were there. Look at me.
No, that's okay. That's okay, and thank you. So, Efferlan, please share an incident or a time in your life that knocked the wind out of your sails, when the going got even rougher and you felt like you were lost. Please be as specific as possible so we can truly appreciate what you were experiencing.
Am I ready?
Oh, we're all ears.
Okay, great. I think, and just trying to go into some ups and downs and highs and lows of life challenges or life experiences. I come from a line of course, those that don't know me, I'm born and raised in Chicago. Left Chicago when I was about 19 and moved to the D.C. area, the D.C., Virginia, Baltimore, Maryland area. Stayed there for about 22 years. Then relocated here to South Carolina. Been down here maybe 11 years. But the road that brought me here, my father, well, my grandparents on both sides, my mom and my dad, both of my grandparents were pastors. My dad, now my father, he also pastored. We come from a very religious background and so forth. So I fell in line with the family vision of the call of God. So of course I went to school, got my degree in divinity and or theology rather, and while I was in the church of our organization, because the church is the organization that I belonged to at one time is a very large organization. I think we have about 136 churches in about 32 states. So pretty large organization. But nevertheless, I was in the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania church at the time, and I was commuting from Maryland to Harrisburg, and that's about a good hour and 45-minute commute. Make a long story short, the body of elected ministers who commission young ministers to go pastor, I got the call in 2006. I got the call to go pastor. So they commissioned me to come to South Carolina. So that's what brought me here. So in that process, you know, I was one of those younger ministers, and that I was always preaching. You know, I'm people calling for me. You know, hey, come here, come to Philly, come to California, come to New York, and, you know, this and that and that and that. So my road took me to a lot of different places, a lot of different churches, and because that was my passion, because of my father and my grandfather, and I had to kind of outlive their shadows. So hey, listen, this is my calling. This is what God has put on my heart, and this is how it's going to be. So I get commissioned to come to South Carolina in 2007. Even though I got the call in 2006, I come to South Carolina in 2007 because I was commissioned to pastor a church here in Greer, South Carolina. So when I got here, the church was, of course, it was already established. They had about 15 members, and in the church world, they call it the building fund, and then a separate fund is your tithes. Total building fund and tithes. They were doing about $15,000. So make a long story short, as I'm pastoring this church and I'm trying to grow it and nurture it, and from the experiences of my dad and my grandfather, and then my pastor who was dead and gone, Reverend C.O. McCullough. You know, I'm learning these things, so I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna apply this. You know, this I've seen it. You know, I've seen it work. So my dream is being fulfilled. This is what I've always wanted. You know, when I left the Maryland area, you know, not only did I come down here to pastor, it was one of them. Hey, listen, this is the church. Can you come now? So I walked away from my 4,200 square foot home in Hagerstown, Maryland. I walked away from my government job. I was working for the Department of Defense just to fulfill that dream. So I get here, and, you know, all these things, and my wife now of 30 years, you know, she was right there with me, not behind me, not in front of me, but right by my side. Her and my children at the time, I have a son and a daughter. Right now, my son is 28, my daughter is 30. So we get here, and everything is going well, and we're nurturing, and we're doing what the call of God is. And then suddenly in 2013, everything came to a screeching halt. You know, everything just came to it just like the bottom fell out of it. And how that happened was the former bishop who commissioned me to come here had passed away in 2012. They did an election, and a new bishop comes in, and him and I we didn't mix. You know, we just didn't see eye to eye. His vision was definitely not what I thought the vision of the church should be, and it just wasn't gonna work. It just wasn't gonna work. I'd like to say sometimes it's philosophical differences. So at this point, I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna stay here and conform, or am I gonna do what the Lord called me to do? So I took the road of doing what the Lord called me to do. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. It is what it is. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just, hey, listen, I'm a man just like you're a man, and we're going to just try to make this work. So the bottom fell out. So I walked away from the church. So at this point, that's the only reason I'm here. So now everything is just crashed. And when I say the success of what God had did for us in the church, when I walked away from the 15 members, at that time in 2013, we had 250 members. The building fund went from the total of $15,000. We did $93,000 in the building fund and $73,000 in the tithes. And just I walked away from it all. But I didn't have a clue of what my next move was going to be. So that was definitely a crashing point of just the bottom fell out. I was really in a really dark place because this is all I knew. This is all I knew. But I don't want to get ahead of the script or anything, but I do know this. It wasn't about the church. It was about the relationship with Christ. So once I figured that out, then I realized where he leads me, I will follow, because he was aware of that I was in this place. I didn't know, but he knew. So I had to come to grips. Listen, the reason I'm here is because he know I'm here. This has already been predestined. This was already pre-organized. So there's nothing that I'm doing to surprise myself. He already put me here, so there's a greater calling. So I had to lean on that. So that was definitely a dark moment.
I appreciate that sharing. Thank you. And I can get that challenge. During the time that you were dealing with the situation, did you blame other people, your circumstances, or yourself?
I think I did a little bit of all three of those things. I blamed other people, and I had to get past that. I blamed the circumstance.
Please share.
When I say I blamed other people, because it was a series of events. Even though Bishop and I didn't see, we didn't come to a point. I just felt that we never had the sit down that I needed to have with him. We talked, but we didn't have that true. Hey, look, let's have a sit down. Let's have a meeting. And I believe that other ministers that were of a higher caliber blocked that, because one thing I will say, that thing jealousy is a mean monster, and if no one has experienced it, it's beyond whatever. I mean, that jealousy thing, it's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy.
Oh yeah.
And I had to get over that as well. I had to get over that because, hey, whatever it is that you got. I think if there's an old song saying, "What God has for me, it is for me." So I wasn't worried about that. But the jealousy thing, they put blocks in the way for him and I not to really speak, because and I no, God, I'm not trying to pump me up or anything. The star was rising. It was going to be soon thereafter. Hey, listen, he's getting ready to get one of the larger congregations. They didn't want that, because they were in those positions. Now, they're not called their names, but nevertheless, the powers that be put some stumbling blocks in the way. But they didn't realize, or I didn't realize, it wasn't for me to do that. Because whatever God has for you, if it's for you, the door will be open. The way will be made. You don't have to worry about it. You just don't have to do that. And not to get off where I am. I remember one time when I was was invited to a funeral to do a prayer, and I was with all these different ministers. All these ministers from all over the city. I was here in South Carolina. Didn't know any of these ministers. I didn't know that the woman who had passed away was a great woman of God. I didn't know that. But her daughter was a member of mine. I never really met the mom until, we was at the funeral, so I didn't physically meet her. But nevertheless, the daughter asked me to say a prayer, do a prayer at the funeral. So great. So when I got there, all of these great men of God was all over the pulpit. I mean, just pastors and teachers all over the place, So I didn't have a seat, So when I got there a little few minutes late, the funeral had already started. So I sat with the piano player. He was sitting on the piano. So I asked him just kind of scoot over a little bit. And I said, listen, Chief. I said, listen, Chief, I'm not going to be here long. I'm just doing a prayer and this and that. And as I sat there, I just got totally nervous. And it just wasn't me. I mean, I was just totally nervous. I don't know what was going on. And a calm spirit came over me. And this is what the Spirit said to me. This is the Lord. He said, the reason that you're nervous is because you're worried about your name and not my name. Mm. If you worry about my name, everything will be all right. And soon as that happened, I was calm. You know, I got to the point where they called me to do the prayer. I did the prayer, and you know, I couldn't tell you today what I said in the prayer, but as I said it, then I left because I wasn't really there to stay. People just kind of bombarded me outside in the parking lot. Hey, where are you? What church you belong to? This and that. Can you come here and speak? You know. And because you got to put him first. And again, when we go back to blaming people, yeah, I did blame these people, but I had to get over that. And yes, the circumstances did prevent me to do what I had to do in the church. But there's a greater calling. It wasn't about the four walls. It was about being with people. And I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but it's about being with people. You can minister. You don't need four walls to minister. Jesus didn't have a church. He had a following, but he didn't have a church. He didn't have to go to a synagogue every day. His church was the body of baptized believers in Christ. But I can go on and on, but I'm not going to do
that. Thank you. So is that the point, or at what point did you stop caring about who or what to blame?
I think that was a few years after the situation. And I credit that to my wife. You know, God uses people for different circumstances. Okay. And I think I was trying to figure out how can I get back in. You know, because once I walked away, you know, this was my whole life. So now I'm trying to figure out, maybe that was the wrong move. Maybe I should be trying to get back in. And everything wasn't lining up for that to happen. And what you just asked me, my wife said to me one night as we were laying in bed, and she said, honey, well, she actually said daddy, because that's what she called me. But nevertheless, she said, daddy, you
Nevertheless,
come on now, I hear you, nevertheless. But she said, you're fighting so hard to get back in when God has already pulled you out and closed that door.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's why I really thank God for that woman. I tell you, and that's all she said. And she's a woman of short words. She's not one of them out front type of first ladies and all that. So, you know, when we have our moments like that, you know, I definitely take it to heart. And that weighed on me. I didn't even answer. That was the point. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So when would you say you started to see the light of freedom and possibility? What steps did you take to start that journey of light?
Self-healing. I just started just self-healing. You know, when you're hurt and you've been hurt, you got to just, you know, get up, brush yourself off. You can't stay in that state. You know, and I knew this. The very things I've been preaching to people, I had to live by it. And I used one particular. I preached one sermon. Well, I preached many sermons, but one sermon in particular. And somebody said it to me, the same sermon. One of my former members. And the title of the sermon is that you don't get a chance to pick the test, but the test picks you. And that's one of my members that told me, that said, Pastor, I know it's tough, but guess what? You don't get the chance to pick this test. The test picks you. It's how you respond to it. And I think that was, you know, once I started self-healing and realizing it's just a test. You know, how you going to respond to it? How you going to motivate yourself? How you going to get back up from this dark place? And I just started living my life, living my best life, as they would say. You know, just being who I am.
When
you
was
know,
that? If I may,
as in Pacific dates. Is that
yeah,
what you're saying?
not but or a specific time, may not the specific date, because unless you know the specific date, but what was happening? What event or what triggered that moment that you started going towards the light and you saw the freedom and you saw the possibility?
Well, it's always been in me, and I think that's the good thing about family. We're a very close-knit family, as in I got 3 older sisters. I didn't tell my age, but it don't matter. But I'll be 52 in Halloween, so I have 3 older sisters, and my dad, who's still alive, my mom deceased, and host of cousins, nieces, and nephews. They all start pouring into me because they all knew this is our guy. This is the preacher of the family. My dad, they all call him Pop. Pop is his time has passed. This is our guy. This is the new Pop. So when this happened, then the family rallied around me and they started pouring into me, and then self-healing started taking place. And then I realized that when I was in the dark place, and I say this in short, when I was in the dark place, I felt like Samson. If you know the story of Samson, of course, they cut his hair, or Delilah cut his hair, and he lost his strength, but it was really never in his hair at all. It was in his faith, because as he was at the grinding stone and they put out his eyes, he was in darkness. He couldn't see. But while he was there grinding, what he didn't realize, his hair was growing back. So his faith was being restored. So as I was going through that dark place, I had to realize that it's not about the church. It's not about a position. It's about my relationship with Christ. And Christ don't want religion. He wants relationship. And then I start seeing the better light, yes.
Okay. Thank you. So thinking about our theme, turning point, what are you present to that you're willing to share with our listeners?
You saying what am I present to?
Yes. What are you present to giving our theme, turning point?
Well, if I had to give some like something that's happening now, I would say this: just be who you are, be true to yourself, focus in on what's going to make you happy. Don't try to make other people happy. Don't try to live nobody else's life. Live your best life, and stay focused. If you could just stay focused, I think that's one of our biggest challenges is staying focused. We do this, we do that. We see people doing this or people doing that, and we flip and we flop and we start this and we start that. Just stay focused. If you can stay focused, truly God can use you.
Okay. Thank you. Well, before I share what is present for me, let me check in with the panel and see what is present for them from the interview. Okay. And I'm going to go to Empress of Faith. Empress of Faith, Nakia.
I am present. Thank you.
We have a little thing going on here, so but yes, Empress of Faith.
Yes, ma'am. Wow. Right. Wow. I am present to the goodness of God and how my relationship with Him and willingness to be obedient, even in the midst of all my flaws, mistakes, and good intentions, has brought me from where I was to where I am today. And in the listening of your sharing, there was such profoundness that came out of your communication and revelation that represents me to who I am and what my responsibilities are, my purpose is, and how great of an opportunity I have to be a willing worker for Christ in every aspect of what I do and who I stand to be in this world for this enterprise with the Wealth Radio Network, for the financial services industry, for ex-offenders, for my son, family, and moving myself out of the way and not worrying about my name, but worrying about representing God and His name. So, wow, that's all I can say.
Thank you, Diva Nakia. Ronnie B., what is present for you?
Power. Yeah, power. The power of authenticity.
Yeah.
The power of, and people think that self-expression is they can say what they want to say. That is not self-expression. That's just talking. It has little to do with communication. That's just talking. I want to be self-expressed. No, you don't. You just want to talk more.
Wow.
Authenticity is when you have the courage. No, I said operative word, courage, to tell on yourself, to say something about yourself where you will not look good. For having been that way or said those things, but you acknowledge it and say that that was inauthentic. That was not who I am and who I be for my faith or for who I am. And to be able to say that, to put that level of vulnerability, you know what? I'm going to look bad. That's just how much I love you. You know, I'm going to look bad. And that's the access to power. So, being a man of faith, being someone, like, here it is, and to have those turning points, because there were several of them, but they all led to where you are today.
That's right.
And that is so amazingly beautiful. So thank you. And for our listeners, get this. Self-expression is not about that you can say stuff. It's about how powerfully you can share where you have been inauthentic. And then from there, what you can create possible. Back to you, Diva Nikki.
Wow. Thank you. So what I'm present to is the power of faith and the power of spirit and the power of trusting that no matter the discord and no matter the obstacle, tragedy, or change, if you put your trust in your faith and in your purpose and get yourself, allow yourself the humility of getting out of the way of your relationship with your Creator and in whom you have faith in, the freedom of unlimited possibility that opens up. I'm also present to the power of the encouraging, subtle, bold, courageous, yet few words of a helpmate. And the trusting of that relationship and them being and having your best interest at heart and what that looks like. Thank you for sharing. So now we will hear from Efferlan later in the show. Before now, it's time for a prosperous spirit. As always, we have some inspiring words from Ms. Cookie. Empress of Faith, Nakia, over to you.
Miss. Well, right, Nikki?
Okay, I'm okay.
I know, right? Today is an opportunity. Even in the worst situation, you can bring your A game. Even when every other person is careless, apathetic, incompetent, rude, and demanding, you don't have to be any of those things. In a world that is far from perfect, you can live every day with excellence. In situations that are unfair and unjust, you can move confidently forward with the utmost integrity. You can accept this moment just the way it is, with all its flaws and frustrations. Then, independent of the circumstances, you can choose your own most positive and empowered perspective. You can be informed and enlightened by what's happening around you without letting it get you down. Indeed, the most difficult other people, no, indeed, the more difficult other people become, the more inspired you can be to offer respect, reason, competence, and, yeah, I'm glad to say it, courtesy. Remind yourself that today is an opportunity, regardless of the weather, the economy, political wrangling, and social pressures. Today is your opportunity to make honest and honorable progress. Fix your awareness on worthy goals, and don't let the noise of the moment dissuade you. Today is when you can give your best to life. Diva Nikki, please take us to break.
I will not. Okay, I'm kidding. Of course I will. Stay tuned for The Kitchen with Miss Cookie and join Empress Nikia at the corner. We are featuring music from Val Bryan. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We give it all to you on Grow Your Mind and Money, and we do it all with love. Something smells great. I think it's a dish Miss Cookie has been whipping up in the kitchen, and Mr. Ronnie is sharing her recipe. Ronnie B.
Thank you, Diva Nikki. Welcome to the kitchen. We have a great recipe to feed those hearty appetites that have been working diligently on growing their minds and money. Miss Cookie has a heavenly recipe for us this week. Slow cooker, creamy ranch chicken. Preparation time, 5 minutes. Cooking time, 3 hours. Your total, 3 hours and 5 minutes for those who don't know how to add or subtract. The ingredients, 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast. Boneless, skinless chicken breast. 1 package of your favorite ranch dressing mix. Now, note this. Do not go buy some bottled ranch dressing. It does not turn out well. Get a package of the dry ranch dressing, any brand. Don't get the dollar store kind, though. Get something good. 4 tablespoons of butter, cubed. Get the unsalted butter. 4 tablespoons butter, cubed. A half a cup of heavy cream. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, and you want to make sure it's sifted so it's not all clumpy and stuff. The directions. All right, your first step. Place the chicken breast in the pot of a slow cooker. Sprinkle that dry ranch mix over it. Then you want to top it with the butter and heavy cream. No, does not work with bottles of ranch dressing. Now, you want to cook it on low heat for about 2 to 3 hours. So this is something you put on in the morning, and you come back around lunchtime. Now, the second step, remove the cooked chicken breast from the slow cooker. Then you're going to actually turn the heat up to high on the cooker. Just turn it up, and you add the cornstarch to the leftover juices inside the pot. Now, you Take one of them little whiskey things, and you keep whisking it until the sauce becomes really thick, and that's going to be about 2 minutes. People are going to think that you went to chef school. Now, ladle it over the chicken and just serve it. Now, this delicious recipe will have everyone licking their chops. Yum, yum. It's time for the corner with Empress of Faith, Nakia. Let's give her a and a dozen roses.
Hey.
All right. The corner, you know what time it is. Welcome to the corner. We're featuring music from Val Bryan. Now, we asked the team to vote whether the track should get a smooch and a rose or if it needs fertilizing. Okay? So definitely want you to participate. So get your musical ears on and let's get ready to play. Now, we're fixing to hear Beautiful Day. Ronnie B. rose, or is it getting some free fertilizer? We need to figure this out. So, team and Mr. F, I want to know what's going to happen. So we're going to start with Diva Nikki.
Beep, beep, beep. Back it up. Beep, beep, beep. Back it up.
What beautiful day is getting some fertilizer from Princess Nikki. Uh-oh.
I don't like any of it.
Uh-oh. Wow. Okay. All right, then. It's a beautiful day. So, F, what would you like to do? Would you like to give it a smooch and a rose, or some free fertilizer?
Well, I like the words "beautiful day," but I'm gonna have to give it some fertilizer.
Back this truck on up.
Oh my God! All right, y'all, Mr. F on it. Okay, so yeah, Ronnie B, beautiful day. What do you say?
Well, you know, being an old rocker from back in the day, one thing I liked is that at least it was a track that you could play in front of children and not have to worry about.
Well, that's the truth.
So, and then they had a couple of nice little guitar riffs. They stayed in their lane. Now, if you just ain't into that kind of genre, I can get it. But I thought they did decent, so I'm going to give them a rose.
All right. Hey,
okay.
Let's see. Beautiful day. Val Bryan, you got a smooch. You got a couple of trucks of fertilizer. So let me see. You reminded me of the Beatles almost, and that rhythm, that flow. Because y'all know I'll be like, who that sound like? But it was definitely unique, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a smooch and a rose, a couple of rose petals. But like you say, Ronnie B, it all depends on the genre and who likes what. So it wasn't terrible. So we're going to leave it at that. A beautiful day.
That's right.
That's your track. So I'm giving we're going to physically go on to the next one, right? So now, Ronnie B, let's hear She's Got That. She's got it.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it. Let's hear it for the girl.
Got it. All right.
My darling lives it up, knows how to live life. She's got a good heart, always giving, just wants to do right. She wears her hair down so we can blow in the wind. Any negative she finds a positive in. She's my sunshine through pouring rain. When I'm roaring, she knows how to make this while I am pain. She's got the right stuff, she knows how to deal with her man. She gives it to me like nobody. Even though You're so beautiful. The way you smile. She's got it. Oh yes, she got it. Don't know what it is, what you're doing to me. The what, the talk, you bring it for me.
Okay, she's got it. Okay, so panel, is she's got it getting a smooch and a rose or a bit of fertilizer? So, Nikki, my darling, Princess Nikki, Diva Nikki, what would you say, love?
You know what? I'm not really sure what she's got, but I'm going to give her a smooch and a rose for having me.
You going to give her a smooch and a rose? What?
I don't know what she got, but I'm going to give her a smooch and a rose for having me. Go on to the next person, Nakia.
All right, honey. All right. So, Efferlan, what you say? What you say?
Well, she got to have something, but I think we're going to give her, she got to have some fertilizer.
So you're saying that she was being a little generous, huh?
Yeah. And I love music and all genre of music. I'm a musician myself, play trombone, but I think she got to have some fertilizer. We got to spruce.
Crack back, redo. Okay, got it. Ronnie B.
Well, you know, I'm listening to it, and for a while, I'd say that it was in at least Rose territory, and then it just kind of fell off and went straight to the fertilizer. And I kind of think that they were trying to be too much. They were trying to please the headbanger crowd, and then they were trying to please the old school rock crowd. And then, you know, it sounded like they were throwing in a little something so that, you know, they could kind of get a little after-concert murky. And, you know, and it just ended up being a mess.
Ronnie B said it was a mess. So,
At least it was in the Rose territory for a little while. At least it took us, go on, Nakia.
So, I just want to say, she's beautiful day and she's got it. So, I'm going to give the track, Ronnie B, I totally agree, because I don't do head banging. That's a bit too much for me. It gives me a headache just thinking about it. It was just, it went too many different directions. Pick one and be done, you know. Until you check that area, then you can venture out, you know. So, give that a bit of fertilizer, darling. So if you like what you heard from Val Bryan, check him out at valbryan.com and Old Grumpy Radio. Diva Nikki, please, Lord, please take us a break.
Gladly. Okay, up next, Shiny Sunshine Lounge. Empress Nakia will continue our interview with Efferlan Williams, plus Voices from the Ethers. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. We give it all to you on Grow Your Mind and Money, and we do it all with love. Now, Sonny, you have the keys to the lounge with Mr. Ronnie. So let's step on over and see what's going on in the lounge. Mr. Ronnie.
All right. Thank you, Nikki, and welcome to Shiny Sunshine Lounge, where we feature a mixture of goodies that will stimulate your mind and maybe, just maybe, have you tap your feet. Tonight, we have an awesome poet, Rach Jackson, performing Period Rules. Now, before we play the track, there is adult language. So, Diva Nikki, you know, you got to leave the room.
Now use, in case the young ones are listening, there is adult language. You don't want your little ears to hear stuff like this. So, DJ, let's hear the track, Period Rules.
The correct way to beg for a tampon from your homegirl is with your eyes. Blame that shit in Morse code, you feel me, on some straight, we are in the room with some sensitive-ass children type shit. The tampon is the preferred menstrual master because of its crayon-like shape. It can slither in your pocket horizontally or vertically without leaving that shitting imprint in your pants. The correct way to beg for a pass, still from the same homegirl, is with the hands. Form a tiny box with your index finger and thumb. Do not raise it above your waist, let the social siren cues go off. After successfully acquiring said menstrual master, announce loudly to the room, you have to pee. Pee only. Even if your bladder is a desert and whatever menstrual master you are using is a bleeding red pin in your back pocket, grab at that bag of shame on your way out. The unwrapping of the menstrual master is the worst. There is a marching band in every crinkle, letting your tinkling stall neighbors know the lining of your uterus is feeling a bit Jericho-y at the moment. Did you know menstruation has a U in it? I didn't until I was like 13 because I read it as menstruation, like it was a new word, dripping off my tongue. The correct way to go through that time of the month is to laugh at how many names are used. The correct way to go through that time of the month is to laugh at how many names are used instead of menstruation. That time of the month has about double the amount of syllables as period. It takes about double the amount of time to beg half the room to ignore something that is happening. Unflow has to top the list. There is actually a fictional family member we all share. No, that act. These are rules that should have stained your bowls by now. I didn't have to remind you how fragile their ears might be. You should know a period is something we ignore on some run-on sentence type shit. On some name you once a month type shit. On some, I swear to God, I hope one of you motherfuckers are so uncomfortable right now type shit. On some, motherfucker, if I have to whisper for a tampon, best believe I won't be in that room type shit.
All right, that was Rach Jackson performing Period Rules. Now, is she getting some snaps or some rotten tomatoes? Empress of Faith Nakia.
Why you come to me first?
Well, hey, you know. Empress, hey. You a woman, Nakia?
In the beginning, I was like, what? Yeah, I was like, oh, my. And then I was like, oh, Then I was like, oh, hell no. Girl, that was a bit much for me. And let's see. Can I get a bag of fertilizer, a big truck of fertilizer mixed with some rotten tomatoes and push it?
Ooh.
Push it on and dump on her and just tell her, girl, stay in there until you get this right, or just change the whole. That was deep.
Oh.
Well. Had to let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Gotta go.
All righty.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Diva Nikki, snaps, rotten tomatoes, or fertilizer?
Well, I love a good delivery. So I'm going to give her a snap for delivery, but I'm going to give her tomatoes for the rest. For content.
For content. Got it. A snap for delivery, tomatoes for content. Yeah. How say ye?
I'm going to give her a snap and a twist. I thought it was her expression. It is what it is. I just like the way it flowed. So I'm gonna give her a snap and a twist.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. And I think Efferlan must have hung out at the famous lounge of the Godfather at some point. So I'm going.
Boy, you digging over there, boy.
I'm gonna give her a couple of snaps. Now, if you enjoyed the performance from Rachel Jackson, you can check her out on YouTube and the Old Grumpy Radio Network. Now it's time to continue our interview with F, Champion for Humanity. Empress Nakia, over to you.
All right. Oh, yeah. Efferlan Williams is a champion for humanity. Easy, and we love him. So F, Easy, they know who I'm talking about, right? So let's go ahead and get started. F, please share the aha moment when you knew in your heart of hearts that being an entrepreneur and business owner in the music entertainment industry was the right thing for you to do.
Oops, we had wrong question, but it's still business owner.
Okay,
it's the right thing for you.
I know you talked about being in music, F, but I didn't think we were going to be talking about that tonight, so let me rephrase that.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you know in your heart of hearts that being an entrepreneur and business owner was the right thing for you to do?
I've always wanted to be self-sufficient and had the business entrepreneur spirit, mindset, and that's truly what it is. It's truly a mindset. I've always had that. My sister, two of my sisters, they own their own business. My dad at one point had his own business. So I've been raised up around it, Nevertheless, when that aha moment came, of course, I don't know if the listeners know that I'm with Primerica Financial Services, and I had an opportunity to service a family. And I think that it just really became relevant when I was servicing this family, and this family, it was a married couple. They had 3 children, and the husband died. Maybe about a couple of months after getting the life protection program, the husband died, and this particular family had like a $720,000 policy, and to see how Primerica did what they did, even though that's what you paid for, but we have to not only do we hand deliver the policies, we also deliver the death claim checks, and just to go to their family's house, and of course they was distraught and this and that, and having a tough moment. But when I took that wife, in the back room or in the kitchen, per to say, and and I hugged her and I gave her the envelope, to see her facial expression change. She just laid in my arms, cried, and now don't get me wrong, she still missed her husband, but I'm sure that the family was definitely in a better position, if that makes any sense. They don't, you don't have to rush to do things, and when we have to rush to go back to work, rush to do this, you don't give yourself time to grieve. So that's when the aha moment really hit home for me. I was like, yeah, this is it. We're changing lives. This is it, So that was that aha moment.
Wow. So what circumstances, people, or challenges come into consideration as you do the work to hone your craft and build the business?
I guess the challenges would be just you have to look at least in my business, you have to look at it as numbers. You know, you put the numbers in the system, and the system dictates what comes out of that. Yes, people have to be inspired. Yes, people have to be motivated. Yes, people have to be self-starters. Yes, a lot of variables happen, but inside of that, it's just numbers. You know, when you start getting personal, man, this person quit the business, or this person let me down, or this person lied to me. You pull yourself away from the system. The system is not designed for that. It's just numbers. You know, it's business, and that's the mentality that you have to have when you're bringing people into business and you're trying to grow them or trying to cultivate them. Is just numbers. You know, so you put the numbers in the system. Then, as that point, as they're in the system, then you want to cultivate. Then you want to grow. You want to expand their mind. But if they're not in that position to go there, then don't expect that to happen. I think somebody said once, don't water dead plants. So it is what it is.
Oh, wow. Well, okay, then.
All right. All righty then.
So what will success look like for you in the future?
Oh, wow. Well, we're trying to definitely build an RVP team, and RVP is Regional Vice President. And
okay, I need to interrupt because Empress is not. It wasn't what the team What will success look like for you in the future?
And Ronnie, let me interject. When I said we're trying to build an RVP team, I'm talking about me. And that's my team.
I got it. I got it, but I'm going to go this way. I'm going to ask it this way, okay?
Okay.
It's been built. It's been built.
Oh, okay. Now that it's built to produce more RVPs from that.
That's been built. That's been built.
Okay. Wow. All that's been built.
That's done. We're talking about the future. It's been that all got done. Anything around the world of Prime America got done. It's complete. It's done. Now, standing in that future, what would success look like?
Okay. Well, I didn't.
Amazing.
Well, yes, and it's always going to be amazing. When you're talking about success, but if I just said, I didn't look at it in that aspect of these things being already built, but I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there.
Go ahead.
Since it's already built, just to make sure that the family is knowledgeable about the things that we laid down, the foundation, and when I say knowledgeable, making sure that we stay to the plan. That's success. Stay to the plan. That we can impact generations after we long gone. So that's success. That we have to make sure we stick to the plan, so that generations will be affected by the plan that we put together. That's success. Got
it. And Nakia, thank you for your graciousness and allowing me to interrupt. And you go ahead and take over now.
Yes, sir. So thank you, F. Now. What are your measures for success from a personal?
Well, we're going to pass on that. You need to go to 3.
Actually, you just meant.
Yeah, he really kind of answered that.
Yeah, that's true. So, okay, so let me ask you this. I would like for you to share when a disappointment pushed you forward and opened a new possibility.
Well, and not to retract on some things I said earlier, but I think the disappointment, my biggest disappointment in life, I don't, thank you, Lord, I don't have many. So it may not have went the way I wanted to go, but I don't want to call it a disappointment. Of course, we all have ups and downs and challenges, but I think the biggest disappointment was when that particular part of my life, when the pastor thing didn't really pan out, or I walked away from the church that I grew up in and friendships and all that other stuff. I think that was the biggest disappointment. And that catapulted me to where I am now, because now my walk is greater with Christ than it ever was when I was inside of 4 walls. Now my walk is greater it pushed me to just recognize who I am, recognize what people bring to the table. It's not about Baptist, Episcopalian, or you in the club, or I ain't in the club. It ain't about none of that. It's just about you being who you are and being true to what you called to do. So that's how they go.
Okay. So, got it. So, now share with me a specific moment or event that brings a smile to your face when the going gets rough.
The birth of my grandchild. I always kind of hone into that little girl. Her name is Taylor, and she'll be 8 years old in November. Just her personality. She's so much like me, you know. And my daughter, it's my daughter's child. My daughter is very quiet, you know, which is like my wife. You know, my daughter got that personality of my wife. She's quiet, you know, real soft spoken. But Taylor is so wide open. And that's just me. That's me. It's just, when I think about it, it just brings a smile to my face. Like, well, it lives on right there. There it is, right there. You know, just her personality. She got tons of personality, and just who she is. You know, she has a nickname for me, and I'm just throwing that out there right quick. And that brings a smile to my face all the time. She has a nickname for me, and she called me Choo-Choo. But it started out with me when she was a little girl. I used to call her Chaka-Choo. So she couldn't say Chaka-Choo, so it turned into Choo-Choo. So as I used to call her Chaka-Choo, she used to reply back to me Choo-Choo. And from that, she calls me Choo-Choo, and I still call her Choo. So we both Choo-Choo. She's Choo-Choo, and I'm Choo-Choo. So, you know, and it just makes me say, when she come in the house, hey, Choo-Choo. I'm like, hey, Choo-Choo, you know. So that's our little thing, and she always brings a smile to my face. I love her.
Awesome. So let me check in with the Diva and Ronnie B and see what is present for them from the interview. So, Diva Nikki, what would you like to share? What are you present to?
What is present for me is being present to the difference that you made in someone's life. And the impact of that. When you probably had an idea of it, and then you had the actualization of it. That aha moment. And then that being your driving, and then allowing that to be your driving force in that direction is what's present for me. And the joy of connecting with our offspring, but not taking it for granted.
Thank you, Diva Nikki. Ronnie B., what's present for you, sir?
Something that I want to, and I love what Diva Nikki just shared. Something I'm present to. And this is just so critical because it's so basic, but it always bears repeating. Focus. What happens is that we're on the path, we're doing the work, and what will happen is something will tell us that, no, we need to stop what we're doing and then consider something else or make up an issue that we now need to work on, which takes us away from the focus of what we're actually working on. Because anytime you start doing something, you're up to something, the world has a habit of bringing you everything at once. It starts bringing you all of a sudden you're the most popular person, and everybody wants your time. Everybody wants your insights. Everybody wants you to be on their team. And you lose focus. And I'm going to tell you something else that happens. Everybody starts trying to tell you how to do things different than the plan you already got laid out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they want to give you better advice. Well, you know, if you really, but see, they ain't doing what you're doing. They ain't working what you working. You know, and I'm not saying that they're not smart, knowledgeable, and know all of that, but they ain't doing what you're doing. And so, you know, thank you, F, for sharing focus, working the plan. You don't have to have the perfect plan. Have a plan. Have a plan, and you will make it perfect. You don't have to hire somebody to come in and tell you you got to have a plan. Get a plan, start. You will adjust accordingly. You will. You honestly will. This brother proves it. Adjust accordingly. But I've said enough back to before I turn into rambling and my partner in crime drifts. Let me get this back.
I will drift.
Empress, take this conversation. Thank you.
Yes. And I was like, because I just want to say, because you hit on some key points. All of a sudden, everything and everybody wants your time and attention, and you're the most popular, and you this, you that, and they need you, have to have you, and direct you in their own way, and you get lost, and you don't even fulfill your purpose in this world or in life anymore because you're so busy fixing and dealing with, or not fixing, but being a part of everybody else's vision and dream and helping them succeed in life. But then you still stuck where you was back when. So I got presence of that. And Efferlan, EZF. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Oh. Okay.
No, you're good. I'm really present to the sharing and the conversation, and to your passion, to your commitment to God, to your higher power, and how everything that you do, it is your intention to walk that straight path. And regardless of what you have to deal with, what we face in the world, you have to stand for something bigger than you. And you have to tap into, and you have to believe in something bigger than you. So as your future is your present moment today, that I'm living into my future right now. I'm living into it right now, in this moment. All of the amazingness, the beauty, the wonder of it all is as a result of all the work and all the commitment and all the dedication and all the sacrifice and all the time and talent that was put in the past so I can experience this moment right now. So, F, I know that we could share forever, and I know you have a lot to give, but it's time to hear from our listeners, which is one of my most favorite portions of what we do in this work. So I'm going to send it over to Diva Nikki, and we're going to hear more from you later in the show. So, Nikki, what did we hear from the ethers?
Okay. Well, we have Michelle Worth.
Unmute yourself, girl.
I'm unmuted. You can't hear me?
Princess Nikki. Diva Nikki.
Can you hear me now?
Check her.
I hear you fine, Nikki.
Hello?
Hello, Nikki. Nikki, I hear you fine.
F?
I hear you.
You hear me fine?
Hello?
I do.
Y'all
I
hear
do.
me? Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Am I the only one on the
so
phone?
let me...
Oh, okay. Well, Diva Nikki, take it away.
Did I get disconnected?
Okay. So we have Michelle Worth from Spokane, Washington. Spokane in the house. I love the interview with Steve Bass, and what I learned is I allow my feelings to get in the way of doing what I promised to do for myself and others. Interesting. The worst part is I continually blame others for even suggesting I'm not doing what I told them I would do. I am so petty, Mr. Steve. I realize I have nothing to complain about but myself. Diva Nikki, how do you stop yourself from making others wrong? Y'all, hold on. Excuse me. How to stop yourself from making others wrong when you don't want to be criticized for your shortcomings? Okay. Well, Michelle, thank you for writing us and sharing. Glad you enjoyed the interview. And what I'm present to right now, Michelle, is integrity and commitment.
What I told them.
And with the integrity, well, let's go with commitment first. When you give someone your word that you're going to do something, and if you're really committed to it, then it's not about them. It's not even about you. It is about the commitment. And then integrity comes in to protect your commitment. And when it comes to how do you not make others wrong, now that's a good question. Because it's so easy to make other people wrong. I try to look at an incident or an action as much as possible versus the person. And also take a look at myself. And if I have to go beyond, and the key word in here is if I have to go beyond the action to the person, then I only want to limit it to the portion of it that belongs to them or that applies to them and only them. But then I want to get away from that. But it's really important to not try to create a story around an action in order to make people wrong. Now let me check in with the others and see what's present for them. Ronnie B.
Diva Nikki, just because we're honoring the time for our guests, we're going to have to just let it go with your great words.
Okay.
Which were actually pretty darn awesome.
Well, thank you. Well, you know I've had some coaching myself because I do the work too. I'm in the course. We're in the course. So, listen, it is time for us to go on break. Empress Nakia, please take us to the break.
Coming up in the next segment, the finale. FEZ Efferlan Williams, final interview with Diva Nikki, Food for Thought and Future Wealth. We will give it all
to you. We'll give it to you.
Empress Nakia, somebody bring us back.
I am. We give it all to you. Oh, grow your mind and money. And yes, we do it with laughter and a whole lot of love. So over to Diva Nikki for the finale.
Okay, thank you for sharing. I have a few more questions, so let's go. What challenges do you see lurking in the water that will try to slow you down or take you off the path from having your business succeed beyond expectations?
I think that the challenge that I see that if I allow it would be inconsistency. You got to be consistent in what you're doing. I don't care what it is you're doing, baking cookies or frying fish or in financial services or whatever. You just got to be consistent. I mean, if this is the product that you're producing or you're promoting, you just got to be consistent with it. I mean, if you're going to do it 3 times a week, you just got to be consistent with rain, sleet, shine, snow, sunshine, whatever. You just have to be consistent. So I think being consistent is definitely the key.
Well, leading me into my next question, speaking of consistency, please share 2 pitfalls you have seen people fall into when it comes to being consistent in their actions for having their dreams and desires manifested.
Pitfalls. If I had to say 2 pitfalls I've seen in people since I've been in business is definitely not being consistent and not following directions. And when you're in business, you know, there's a plan laid out. And I heard Ronnie talk about earlier, it don't have to be the best plan, but there is a plan. You have to have a plan. It's not that, people plan to fail, they just fail to plan. So you got to have a plan, and following directions in the plan will lead to success. Now, it may take some longer than others to get to success, but you have to follow the roadmap. You just can't get off. That's why we have GPSs. That's why we have, in the old days, we used to read a map. They got GPSs now, and of course, I use them like anybody else, but I do remember the days you had to read a map. Most kids don't know how to read a map, but the point of the map is to take you to the point you're trying to go the fastest. You can look at the fastest route or the fastest interstate to take you where you're trying to go. So I think inconsistency and definitely following directions is some of the key things that will keep people from being successful in business.
Okay, thank you. Now, would you please share with us one practice you use daily to keep yourself in action and focused on the results you intend to produce?
One action that I use daily would definitely be the power of prayer. And I know you asked for one, but I just got to just say this. But the power of prayer and always affirming myself. Always, hey, listen, don't worry about it. You can do it. Don't worry about it. It's not even a setback. It's a setup. Don't worry about it. I always got to affirm myself. And, of course, the power of prayer. I want to start my day off with my relationship with Christ. And not saying that I got to be the holy roller, because that's truly not the case or anything of that nature, but I just want to have that relationship with Christ. I definitely think that you have to affirm yourself. You have to, if you got a vision board or dream pillar or something, I think in the book of Habakkuk it says, write the vision and make it plain. He that reads it shall run thereby. So you need to write something down. You need to look at it every day. This is where we're going. Today is the day that I got to do this. This is what we said we're going to do, so let's get to it.
Thank you. What do you have on your plate personally and with your businesses? How can our listeners learn more about your services and projects?
Currently, we have on our plate, again, as far as the businesses we talking about, we have a lot going on. The business is definitely exploding. We're not only changing lives, we're expanding people's vision, as in, hey, these are things that we can do. Not saying this is the only business in America, but definitely this is definitely one when it comes to financial concepts. And I think that's a lot of times in the African American community, we're not educated on how financial concepts work. We don't know how money works, but we know how to spend it, but we just don't know what to do with it when we get it. But the rich and the wealthy, they have what is called financial advisors. So that's what we do, try to do it in the middle class. Hey, bring that advice to you. I can't make you do it, but definitely I want to make sure I share with you how your money works and how it should work for you. So that's definitely one of the things that we're looking for to expand our business. And as far as how listeners get in contact with us, of course, they can always contact me through Primerica Facebook group. And in that group, I'm F. Will, because my son's name is Efferlan as well. So on Facebook, I'm F. Will, EFF. WILL, F. Will. So my son takes Efferlan. He takes the name. So that's why I'm at F. Will. But they can reach me that way, or they can reach me through Instagram at F. Will. Big F on Instagram, BIGEEFF on Instagram. And we go from there. And if they need to call me directly, they can. Number is 864-722-2756. Again, 864-722-2756. That's my business line.
Thank you so much. Let me check in with the Prosperous Divas and see what is present for them from the interview. So, Empress of Faith, Nakia, what's present for you?
What your mission is, your ultimate goal, and where you stand in your commitment to having families properly protected and legacies created, families educated to what there is within our communities. and how there is there are disparities and differences to what's available and what we've been taught and what other classes and races have been taught and have access to. And I thank you for all that you do and for your presence, with us on the show this evening and being willing to be authentic and transparent and coachable and present in this experience. So thank you so much for your contributions.
Thank you, Nakia. Ronnie B.
Okay, well, as I just, again, the things that stand out are just so many of the simple things that complicated minds complicate. And I like how you said it doesn't matter if you're selling fish, if you hawking hamburgers, whatever it is, it's the same things. Be consistent, do the work. Don't not do the work and then judge it. Mm-hmm. And like I said, you're in a business where you bring people into the business. And if they won't take direction or follow the plan, but sit on the sideline and talk about how they think that it should go, well, like you say, what was the line you used? Don't water dead plants. Hey, that's a dead plant. They rather spend time. It's just like this. If I go to the beach, who do I want to learn how to swim from? The guy on the side of the beach with all the charts and videos on how to swim, or the guy that's in the water?
That's right.
Or the guy that's in the water. Because it may not look like what the videos and the instruction look, but that guy in the water is swimming. So thank you. Diva Nikki?
Yes, thank you so much. This has definitely been a pleasure. FF, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. And, hey, please stay for the rest of the show. Thank you for sharing and being on Grow Your Mind and Money. It has been wonderful. Now it's time for Mr. Ronnie to share what has been whipped up for us on Food for Thought. Ronnie B.
All right. And I definitely got to talk to our writers. I got to talk to them. My God, this week I had to tell them to leave the wine alone while they're writing for it. Be a gift to yourself. Don't leave the wine alone. Okay, all right, make it easy. Be a gift to yourself. Give the gift of irreplaceable fulfillment by giving to others. Give yourself the gift of a life overflowing in every part with purpose, meaning, and love. Give yourself the gift of support and respect that come from taking good care of your health and well-being. Give yourself the gift of laughter, passion, and joy. Give yourself the gift of discipline to get difficult jobs accomplished. Give yourself the gift of persistence to continue with your efforts. Give yourself the gift of a short break when you grow weary. Then give yourself the gift of a solid push to get back to work. Give yourself the gift of faith in your own perspective and abilities. Give yourself the gift of time and patience to get things right. Give yourself the gift of dreams, goals, and plans you can look forward to. Give yourself the gift of challenges that will energize you. Giving the thing the gift to yourself. An action I will take this week in manifesting the future I desire is to daily write one thing about myself that is a gift to myself.
Over to Empress Nakia for future wealth, manifesting and creating from the future now.
Thank you, Ronnie B. We experience the occurring world and future from conversations we choose to generate for having the future and occurring world we desire. Experience, express, and producing results in our lives. We have a little exercise, as you know, intended to empower you in creating results with velocity. So, everybody knows, pen and paper in hand, pencil, erasers, whatever, but you know it's time to be ready. We have some writing to do. Making promises and requesting promises using by when. The fastest way to produce results is in the power of your word. An aspect of the power of your word is the ability to make promises and request promises from others. When you make a promise, you are giving your word. You are making a declaration to the divine and the universe. You are commanding the universe. You are commanding the universe. You are saying, this will be so. The more willing you are to make promises and be your word in the fulfillment of those promises, power builds in your words. Thus, literally and figuratively, when you say money, money starts falling out of air. Oh, yeah. Money! Your power is magnified when you are effective at making requests and using a by when. When you request a promise from another, you are empowering their word and empowering your word. When you add the by when, your power multiplies exponentially. Okay, let's create the following categories. Woohoo! Joy. How about that? Joy, joy, joy. Adventure. Yippee! And peace of mind. Oh, I digress. Okay, so I know you wrote down joy, adventure, and peace of mind. Now, under each category, answer these questions. Who will I make a request of that will further the results I seek to accomplish in this area, and by when will I make the request? That's number one. Number two, notice the first thing that pops up in your mind is, I don't need anything from anyone. In a specific area, that is a bright red warning. Your mind is running the show, not your word. Number three, people resist giving their word. Thus, they resist asking someone to give their word. You may notice you don't want to be pinned down by the by when. Gosh me. Now, last part. As detailed and specific as we can say or think, we are. As detailed and specific as we say or think we are. Oh, that kind of freaked me out. I was present in my conversation. By when is a test for yourself and one you would be served by when making requests of others. So I'm going to repeat that one more time. As detailed and specific as we say or think we are, by when is a test for you, a test for yourself, and one you would be served by when making requests of others. By when will tell you if a person is blowing smoke or really in the game. Keep working on this exercise during the week. If you have any questions or need coaching, definitely email us at divas@prosperousdivas.com. Again, divas at prosperousdivas.com. A world of peace and prosperity, one listener at a time. Until next time, grow your mind and money. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Peace, love,